Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Check-In with Sara Orlesky.
Jaime Thomas with you. You didn't know you were on, did you? You hesitated.
Well, yeah. Okay. I'm used to having someone point.
Okay.
Yes. Now,
you have Freddie going, yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Cue, Sarah.
Freddie, where are you?
Looking forward over the next half an hour or so, getting you set for today's game between the Winnipeg Jets and St. Louis Blues. The Jets, after an incredible start to the season, 5-0 so far, have hit the road for their next 3 games. St. Louis, Seattle, and Calgary.
Yeah, looking forward to this one against the St. Louis Blues. Jets obviously off to an undefeated start against the Central Division and have actually owned their divisional opponents the last couple of years. Yeah. So looking at this matchup with the St. Louis Blues are off to a good start as well at 4-2. Always entertaining whenever the Jets are in St. Louis, and so looking forward to see how this one will look. We'll have the lineups for you coming up here right away. We're going to have Matt DeFranks from St. Louis Dispatch to talk about the Blues. But the best part, and I'll say that for you, who's coming up a little bit later in the show.
We are also expecting Gabriel Vilardi to join us from St. Louis. Now, both morning skates are done. The home team usually goes at 10:30. St. Louis Blues going, and the Jets have just finished at 11:30, so they'll be heading back to the hotel shortly. But we are hoping that Gabe's going to be able to join us for a couple of quick minutes just to get us set for tonight's game. And what a night it is in the NHL as we look at all 32 teams in action tonight. It's the only time the season the Frozen Frenzy happens. You looking forward to it?
Yeah, I am. And there's always been the critique of the NHL not having these types of nights more often. There will be a game starting every 15 minutes, except for the last game of the night. That game's coming from Vegas. It will start 45 minutes after the second to last game, but we're not going to get too picky about that. It's nice to have it. And so basically on this subject, we're going to ask you, should the NHL have Frozen Frenzy more than once a year? All 32 teams in action on the same night, and it comes on a Tuesday. So the fact that they're starting every 15 minutes, quite fascinating. The Jets, though, starting at a normal time. They'll start at 7 p.m. Central Time in St. Louis, the first of a 3-game road trip. So our question to you, should the NHL have Frozen Frenzy more than once a year? It's like a holiday.
Yes. That'll be my answer. Yes, it absolutely should. I like it was feast or famine. Last night, just the one game with the Leafs and Tampa Bay playing, but then tonight, all 16. I think I think it gets people excited. You've got there's just a lot of buildup for it. Plus, you can never go wrong when you have that many choices of games. I love to see how many people are already checking in with us too, with the comments. In addition to, do you want to see it? Julian says, I feel like it could be once every month or two, I think. At least 3 times, says Ethan. Big fan of all of this. Oh, D-Mart, Vilardi scores his first tonight. Certainly hoping so. Oh, look at this. Frozen Frenzy is great, but it's also NBA opening night. It is. I mean,
They are in competition with the NBA.
We can be happy about both, you know. Where are you watching from? You don't just even check in right now. We've had some people that have been across Canada. Maybe, you never know. Maybe we can get someone, maybe like some of Nino's family or something could follow us from Switzerland.
That would be nice. Yes.
That'd be great. We need to get on it.
Stem says Frozen Frenzy more than once a year, sure, but preferably not on a weekday. Work comes early. Totally fair on that one. So, all right. We are not going to mess around, and we're going to add Gabriel Vilardi to the party here. So, Gabe, you have first question, sir.
Thank you so much for doing this. Gabe, we'll just keep you for a couple minutes. We know you've got a roll, but
I love the shot.
Good. Yeah, I'm just in the dress with good angle, huh?
That's great. With the start that you guys have known, now you head out on the road for 3. How do you keep it rolling? What's going to be the key tonight?
I think just coming out to a good start and, just having the same mentality we've had at home.
Lots have been made of the power play during training camp and certainly through the preseason. You guys are first in the NHL in that department. What have you liked about the man advantage so far this year?
Yeah, we got two really strong units, and having Painter, it's been a really good change of pace for us, and I think everyone's kind of like that so far, and I think we're just creating a lot of chances, and we've gotten lucky to score.
We see that the Blues, they made some changes in the offseason, mix of vets and young players. What is it that you need to be aware of with this St. Louis Blues team?
Yeah, like you said, they got some really good young players, and then adding in those vets to the team, they're a good squad, and it should be a fun match. It's a divisional matchup.
Well, we tell Gregor and Brownie that it's the 3-question guarantee. We asked you 3 questions. You gave us 3 answers. Thank you so much for your time, Gabe, and good luck tonight.
Okay, good job, guys. We'll see you later.
Thanks, buddy. That's Gabe Vilardi joining us from St. Louis. So
a man, a few words.
Yeah. Listen, he will elaborate a lot, but obviously with everybody staring at him in the dressing room. So
it is a little self-conscious to just be sitting there in the room with your
and having been in the visitors dressing room in St. Louis. It's very compact. There's not a lot of space.
That's such a nice
there,
way
so,
to put it.
Yeah. So obviously he's under a lot of pressure, and we've all had our peers standing around us while we're doing interviews. Well,
I tried to do that to
peers
Jamie on a
standing
regular.
us to do any like public speaking. It's a little stressful. So thank you so much for Gabe Vilardi to joining us.
Absolutely. Okay, here are what our expected lines are for tonight. We saw some changes, obviously, in the last game, but Mitchell Clinton on the scene. Of course, he's part of the broadcast crew with CJOB alongside Paul Edmonds. And you take a look at what we are expecting to see tonight in terms of the lines. Rasmus Kupari going back in, Logan Stanley staying in, and Connor Hellebuck was back in the starters net going through his routine, which was no surprise.
Yeah, that's divisional rival. We thought that we had our discussion on Sunday before we found out that Eric Comrie was getting the start against, gosh, my memory is Pittsburgh on Sunday. Comms was excellent, by the way, but it's usually Connor Hellebuck whenever the Jets are playing a divisional opponent, especially with 3 games to kick off or to start this road trip. But I think what we really like what David Gustin did.
Yep.
To come in the lineup after 4 games is kind of, a little bit of pressure. Everybody else has had 4 games under their belt. You're just joining everything. He said he didn't like his game too much, but was, felt that there's some things he needs to work on. But David Gustafsson will continue to get these opportunities. And Logan Stanley, in the lineup for a second consecutive game, just huge for the Jets. Usually in the Central Division, very physical games. So to have Big Stan on the blue line in St. Louis tonight is a big plus for the Winnipeg Jets.
I love how many people time for the Vilardi party. He's a beauty. Gabe gets 2 tonight. Okay, Doug, not a big fan of Frozen Frenzy.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you know what, Doug, you have the right to your opinion. And I can appreciate that sometimes you like to watch a game from start to finish, not going back and forth. Here's what I like, though, is that sometimes, let's be honest, some games they get a little bit out of hand. Maybe they're not ones that you're not as invested in. Gives you more options.
Here's what I think. So Doug actually doesn't have issues focusing like the rest of us do. So he can probably likes to zoom in on one game and take it all in. Whereas I wonder what else is going on. That's what a lot of us have the problem with.
Yes,
it's not
true.
What's there; it's what else is there, Sarah. So
there you go.
That's what Frozen Frenzy is all about.
You know who's out there? Jennifer is watching from Spokane, Washington. Biggest Scheifele fan right here. Hello, Jennifer. Thanks so much for joining us. Hard not to be a fan of what we've seen from Mark Scheifele so far as he leads the team in goals right now and continues to produce.
Yeah, and he could have had 3 goals on Friday against the San Jose Sharks. So it's just terrifying to think of if you're an opponent of what Mark and Scheifele can pull off this year in the first year of his 7-year extension. But that top line is on fire. And speaking of the lines, we'll get to the St. Louis Blues lines here momentarily, and Matt DeFranks will be joining us from St. Louis to talk about the Blues. But I talked to Eric Comrie the other night, and it was the Adam Lowry line that took over in the 3rd period. When the game was tied at 3, that Lowry line, who had shut down Sidney Crosby and company the entire afternoon, they took over. They had the 3 goals, wrap it up. So I asked Eric Comrie his thoughts on the 3rd line. He gave a great answer after the game against the Penguins.
So they just grind, and they know how to put the puck in the back of the net as well. I mean, but it's once again, it's all 4 lines just doing exactly what coach tells them, line after line after line. And I don't think people understand how special it is. And I think the amount of buy-in we have here is impressive. I don't think I've really seen that anywhere else. And just the buy-in shift after shift, you know what you're getting, you know what's going to happen out there, and it's special.
Well, yeah. one of the things that almost going off of what Eric said as well, Mason Appleton spoke after game. He said, we would rather win a game 2-1 or 3-2, but to have the ability to win a game 6-5 or 5-3, it shows that we're diverse and have scoring up and down the lineup. We have certainly seen that games mean 6 different goal scorers in the win against Pittsburgh, 6 different goal scorers in the win against Edmonton. And to believe in some ways that we know that this is such a talented team offensively, but look at the way that they've been able to limit opposing teams, outscoring them 24-8 so far and pretty impressive when you're 5 games in, and 3 out of those 5 games, you've scored at least 6 goals.
Yeah, very impressive. Matt DeFranks has popped into the show.
Oh, fantastic.
So let's bring in Matt, who was kind enough to join us here this afternoon. Your hair looks spectacular.
Does it really? I don't know about that.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were going to fix the hair before you came on, so put you in a bad spot. But thank you so much for joining us, Matt. Let's start first off with this hockey club. Philip Broberg came over in an interesting fashion in the offseason as they signed an offer sheet to him from the Edmonton Oilers. Broberg is off to a tremendous start. He's on a 6-game point streak. What has he been doing so well to kick off the season?
Yeah, he's been their best defenseman so far in these opening 6 games. A lot of it is what he's doing away from the puck, to be honest. He's using his skating, he's using his length, shutting down plays, like really looking like a guy who can defend well. I think you look at his even strength numbers, and I don't think he's been on the ice for a goal against. He was on the ice the other night for a power play goal by Carolina. But other than that, it's been pretty clean from him when he doesn't have the puck. And, when he does have the puck, he's making smart plays. He's making skilled plays. You look at the pass that he made to Jake Neighbors last week in overtime against the Islanders. And that's a skilled sauce pass in overtime where he puts it on a platter basically for Neighbors to score. So a lot has been going right for him. And I think, you can talk about confidence, you can talk about responsibility and role and stepping into all of that. And I'm sure that's part of it. But he looks like a very confident player right now. And him and Justin Falk have been their best defensive pairing in the early going.
Obviously, it's so early into this season, only 5 or 6 games for most teams so far, and only 2 points separating first in the Central to 5th right now. What are the expectations for the Blues in your mind for this season?
Yeah, they think that they're ready to take that next step and become a playoff team again. This is a team that's missed the playoffs the last 2 years. It's only happened once in franchise history that they've missed the playoffs in 3 consecutive years. And Doug Armstrong, he looks at the moves that he made in the summer, and he doesn't view them all as one's death for the future. Obviously, Philip Broberg is more than a 1-year thing. Dylan Holloway is more than a 1-year thing. But when you look at guys like Matthew Joseph or Radek Faksa, Ryan Suter, Alexander Texier, like those are pieces that he brought in to add to the roster right now. These are not things that he thinks about for the future. And he looks at those guys, even though some of them might be on the younger side outside of Ryan Suter. He thinks that they have enough to contribute right now, and he lead him back to the playoffs. So I don't know whether that's going to actually be true for them, right? I mean, it's a division, as you mentioned, and they haven't shown the 5-on-5 possession numbers in the last few years to give me confidence that they will be better this season around. But they think that they should be a playoff team, and right now they're right on that bubble early on, and I expect them to be on that in or out bubble throughout the entire season, perhaps.
So when you think of the Blues and the superstars they have in this team, you've got Kyrou, you're thinking of Buchnevich, you're thinking Robert Thomas, but a guy that's kind of put his way in an impressive year last year with 31 goals. Jake Neighbors just signed a 2-year extension. Where's the ceiling for this kid?
Yeah, I think we're maybe just starting to see what he can do. Last year, he had, I think, a shooting percentage of 18 or 19%. So you wondered how sustainable that's going to be. But I think you can understand that his shooting percentage can come down. And also in the same vein, think about him as being a consistent goal scorer. I mean, where he scores a lot of his goals, it's from around the net. He plays at the net front on the power play. He gets his nose dirty at even strength. He's around the net all the time in the blue paint. Him and I had a nice discussion a week ago about goalie interference and how he tries to navigate that now with the way that it's been officiated early on in the season. And that's something that he pays attention to a lot because that's where he spends a lot of time. So even if his shooting percentage does come down to 14, 15, that's still obviously high, but it's not unheard of for a guy who spends that much time at the net front. And he will get more opportunities because he's on the play and because he's getting more shots on goal. Like all these things contribute to more opportunity. And even if he does see return to the mean in his percentage, he should be able to still contribute a lot offensively. And when you look at the extension that they did today, 2 years, 3.75 million cap hit, it's something that probably works for both sides right now. The Blues get him before he maybe turns in another 27 goal season. And Jake Neighbors, he mentioned today, he was asked why did he want to wait for a longer term, and he said, well, in Blues history, you look at it and it's basically Vladimir Tarasenko and Alex Pietrangelo, and I am not those guys. That's basically what he said. Nice. As in terms of getting a long-term deal right out of your entry-level contract. I mean, even Thomas and Kyrou, they signed short bridge deals before they signed their current 8-year extensions. So they get him locked in for a couple more years. And, I think from a funnier outside perspective, they get him signed before Edmonton can maybe offer sheet him next summer.
Well played, my friend. Thanks very much, Matt. Appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you soon. All the best.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Matt.
Didn't want to leave Matt hanging out there because I had put him on standby because we were unsure about the timing of Gabe Vilardi.
100%.
So I know we have a set standard.
No.
The rundown.
We're flexible.
I don't know, because you have everything written out nicely here. You spend a lot of time, probably more time doing this than preparing for the show. So I don't want to ruin I don't want to upset the apple cart. Sarah.
No.
Okay.
And I can roll with it.
Okay.
That's great. We really appreciate Matt being able to join us and give us some perspective. And I love the offer sheet comment.
Yes.
Of course, St. Louis Blues.
Ooh, that's a sore spot in Edmonton right now. Oof.
Who would have thought Edmonton and offer sheets? But with Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg getting the offer sheets and accepting them from St. Louis. And you look at Broberg in the start too, his 6-game point streak right now, tied for the longest by a St. Louis defenseman in franchise history. So certainly off to a good start there. And Jake Neighbors, I don't think it comes as a surprise. I mean, especially when he gave the examples of the 2 long-term contracts that we see coming out of entry-level contracts. But a bridge deal can work well for both parties.
And Winnipeg Jets know all about that with our good friend Cole Perfetti, who's
Absolutely.
off to a great start as well. And the 4 lines too. I go back to the 4-game homestand. Each line chipping in at different times and kind of helped out each victory of the 4-game homestand. So that is what they've been talking about. And as Eric Comrie said, each line looks the same, and it's just line after line, shift after shift. You know exactly what you're going to get. And I love the comment he made about the buy-in, that he hasn't seen it anywhere else, and how special it is. So maybe when you're sitting there thinking, why is this start so fantastic right now? I think that's a pretty good reason what Eric Comrie said on Sunday night.
And I haven't done the quick math to switch it from Sunday, but at Sunday it was 6 games in 11 days. I think it was 11 games at that point in 21 days for it. So you need to have all 4 lines rolling and your 3 deep pairings. You need everything to look the same, because you're going to have to, you can't put everything on that top 6 or your top pairing. You need to be able to have success. And again, when you look at how many different goal scorers we've seen so far this season, that's certainly been the case. If we can throw up quickly just the Blues lines for those that might be interested in it. I know that some people keep very close eyes even on your opposing teams, and this is what we are expecting them to look like this evening for it. Alexander Texier going back into the lineup. He was injured in the first game, playing on that 4th line, but he was on injured reserve. He is expected to return tonight.
And Dylan Holloway on the left side of the 4th line, the 3rd line. Dylan Holloway is the other player that the Blues sent an offer sheet to pluck from the Edmonton Oilers, who obviously have their own issues with the cap. And the Blues taking advantage of that, bringing some great players, some depth players onto the roster. And Philip Broberg kind of lost in the Edmonton Oilers hierarchy on the blue line because of players like Evan Bouchard that kind of block that path. But Philip Broberg taking advantage of the situation, the opportunity he's been given by the St. Louis Blues.
So it's going to be, looks like Connor Hellebuyck versus Jordan Binnington this evening. Binnington's numbers regular season against the Jets, 3-6-1, a 3.09 goals against average, and a 905 save percentage. When I think of Binnington, it's hard to believe that how much time has passed since these 2 teams played in that first round playoff series in 2019. It's in some ways it just seems like yesterday to me, and then you look at how many years. I think Binnington was 25 when that happened. Now, I mean, a wily veteran at 30.
And it was wild the year that St. Louis was last in the National Hockey League, and that's when Binnington really came on
Yeah.
on the big stage, and of course help them eventually win. We won't talk about it.
Let's see. It should be a close competitive game tonight. It should be Eagle Eyes. Let's go 6-0. 6-0 start incoming. A few of them.
And what would a show without Kenny's water bottle? 6-0 start incoming. So a reminder, though, there is this 3-game road trip, but the Jets will be playing at home for 1 game and 1 game only next week. They will host the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yes. Looking forward to that game. I mean, it's always a good atmosphere when you've got 2 Canadian teams. Obviously, when the Leafs come to town, I think there's a little bit extra as well, motivation on both sides. And that one is an Amazon game. So Monday night, don't know if any of you were watching the game last night or if you've had a chance to check out the games on Amazon so far. The entire crew's coming here to Winnipeg for the game. So Adnan Burke and company will be here. The panel will be set up. So looking forward to that one. It should be good.
Make sure you get your tickets now because it's the Leafs, and we want
It's
more
true.
Jets fans than Leafs fans. So you need to do your part in that aspect, as those 2 teams, those 2 Canadian rivals, will meet on Monday night, the only game of the Jets homestand next week.
For it. The unbeatable Jets, as Lucy, I love the hashtag perfect season. Yes, the 82-0 is still intact right now.
Keep the dream alive.
That's right. Exactly. What else do we want to when on for this one? Power play could be significant tonight, or you could hope.
When St. Louis penalty kill, struggling 27th in the NHL. Again, it's early.
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity for the Jets. They haven't had a lot of success in St. Louis with the man advantage, but this is a whole new unit. And you could hear the excitement in Gabe Vilardi's voice when talking about the power play. You could change.
He's just using it.
Yeah, has a big smile on his face. He's just excited for the opportunity to get on the power play tonight against St. Louis.
And I think that one of the things with this power play that'll be interesting is that obviously they didn't have success against Pittsburgh. They weren't able to capitalize 0-2 with the man advantage, but structurally, that's just as important to be able to see. So I think there's still obviously a learning curve that's going along with it, people needing to learn exactly where their position is, but you see a lot more movement on it. There's a lot more flexibility, it seems, within both the first and the second units. Great to see both having contributed already this early into the season, because that hasn't always been the case. So to be able to see production from them, but really, I think that one of the things that the coaching staff is going to look for is, even if they aren't able to capitalize, is the structure there?
Somebody put a word on there.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I agree with everything
Yes.
you just said. I just
You
got
know what?
distracted.
That's exactly.
That's why you got to read everything before you put it up on the old show.
All right.
Okay.
Well, with that, I mean, we should probably get going, because I don't know if we can trust Jamie anymore
No, you can't.
to be in charge of this.
I have to go do a radio hit, so it's just why we got to go. So no
Kind
big
of a
deal.
big deal.
No big deal. NHL radio.
One at me, yeah.
We're getting the music. We're getting the music.
Winnipeg Sports Talk coming up in just a few minutes with Andrew Hustler Patterson, when they will continue talking Jets, no doubt, as always. So much great coverage here within the city, online, that you're able to find shows, whether it be beforehand, talking about it after the game as well. So we'd love to be able to see the conversations going. And we always appreciate so much when all of you join us in here. It's so great as we get to know all of you, and we hope that you'll continue to join us as we do this for 82.
All 82.
All 82. No, looking forward to it as always. Thanks so much, guys, and we will see you on Thursday. And just remember quickly before you go, if for some reason you are not able to join us live at 12:30, you can always listen in afterwards as we continue to get you set up, and hopefully we'll continue to have players join us and media from around the league as well, get you set for each and every Winnipeg Jets game day.
See you, everybody. Have a great day.
Have a wonderful day, everyone.